All right, let's just jump right in. On the surface, a Mr. Beast video and a Bitcoin payment, they feel like they're from completely different universes. I mean, one is all about grabbing your attention, right? The other's about cold, hard, unfeeling code. But it turns out there's a really surprising fundamental idea that connects them both, and we're going to pull back the curtain on that today.
So, this is the central question for this whole explainer. What could these two things possibly have in common? One is built for pure entertainment, the other for absolute bulletproof security. But the answer gets to the heart of one of the most important ideas in our entire digital lives.
And there it is. The answer is trust. It turns out both of these are just really ingenious modern systems for building trust between total strangers on the internet. See, one builds what we'll call relational trust through human engagement. The other builds systemic trust through code and verification. So let's break down how each one actually pulls this off.
Okay, first up, let's look at the world of content creators. How in the world do you get millions of people to not just watch your video, but to actually trust you enough to come back for the next one and the one after that? Well, it's not an accident. It's a very carefully crafted art.
The best way to think about it is like a relational contract. Now, this isn't a piece of paper you sign, but it is a really powerful, unspoken agreement. The creator is basically promising to deliver consistent value, to be entertaining, to be authentic, and in return, the audience, that's you, gives them their most valuable asset, their attention.
And this contract isn't just wishful thinking. It's built with a clear blueprint. It all starts with a super strong hook in the first few seconds to grab you. Then it uses concise, snappy dialogue to keep you watching, and it usually ends with a call to action that makes you feel like you're part of a community. It's a formula, really, for earning and then keeping that trust.
And what's the engine driving this whole thing? It's storytelling. As Mario Juice, who used to be a strategist for Mr. Beast, points out, it's not that our attention spans are shrinking. That's a myth. It's that our tolerance for being bored is basically zero. We just don't put up with content that wastes our time. And a good story? That's the ultimate tool for honoring this unspoken contract.
So here's the kicker. If a creator breaks these unwritten rules, with a super slow start or terrible audio or the pacing is all wrong, they break that trust. You don't have to fill out a form or anything. You just click away. And just like that, the contract is over.
But it's not just about the unwritten contract with you, the audience. There are also hard, explicit rules with the platform itself. Violating copyright, for example, isn't just a small mistake. It's a major breach of the rules that can get a video taken down or even get a whole channel shut down. So trust with the system is just as important here.
Okay, now let's switch gears completely. We're going to move from the art of human connection to the science of systemic trust. How do you get complete strangers to exchange something valuable with each other without any personal connection, without even a bank in the middle?
You see, before something like Bitcoin came along, the answer was always an intermediary, a trusted third party. The book Grokking Bitcoin uses this fantastic analogy of Lisa the accountant. Imagine everyone in a group just sends their payment requests to Lisa. They all have to trust that Lisa's going to update her spreadsheet correctly, that she won't make mistakes, and that she won't just, run off with the money. The entire system hangs on trusting Lisa.
Well, a Bitcoin transaction is designed to get rid of Lisa entirely. It's this self-contained piece of data that formalizes a payment. So instead of being an email asking Lisa to make a change, the transaction is the change. It has all the proof it needs baked right into it to be valid on its own.
And here's basically how that works. A transaction has three key parts. The inputs prove you actually have the money you're trying to spend. The outputs say exactly where that money is going, and a unique digital signature proves that you and only you authorized it. So anyone, anywhere, can look at this data and verify that it's legit. No Lisa required.
And this leads to this really profound idea, a trustless system. Now, that word is a little misleading. It doesn't mean there's no trust. It just means you shift your trust. You take it away from a fallible person like Lisa, and you place it onto transparent, verifiable, and basically unbreakable mathematical rules. You don't trust the person, you trust the code.
So we've got the art of human trust on one side and the science of systemic trust on the other. Now let's build a bridge between the two and see how they really are just two sides of the very same coin.
Just look at this comparison. It's pretty wild. A creator has to provide value to their viewers. A transaction has to provide valid inputs. A creator needs a strong hook. A transaction needs the correct digital signature to be unlocked. A creator has to deliver on the promise of their video's title. A transaction is invalid if it tries to spend the same money twice. See? They're both just systems with strict rules, and if you violate those rules, you fail. One fails to get views, the other fails to get confirmed on the ledger.
Now, this isn't just some fun little thought experiment. Understanding these two different ways of building trust is actually crucial for making sense of the weird digital world we all live in.
So what we have are two really powerful models. There's relational trust, which is all about human connection, reputation, and consistently showing up. That's the YouTuber. And then there's systemic trust, which is built on transparent, verifiable code that anyone can check for themselves. That's the Bitcoin transaction.
And here's why this really matters to you and me. Every single day, from our social media feeds to our bank accounts, we are constantly making choices about who and what to trust. Knowing the difference between these two models, knowing when it makes sense to rely on a person versus when it's better to rely on a protocol, that's becoming an essential skill for the 21st century.
So, I'll leave you with a final big question. As our world gets more and more digital, which kind of trust do you think is going to matter more? The one we feel, that human, relational trust? Or the one we can verify, that mathematical, systemic trust? It's definitely something to think about.